Actually, this all happened this morning. I woke up early this morning trying to get ready for my day, and I kind of walked myself to the garage because I needed to get some juice and almond milk, and I have none left in the refrigerator in the kitchen. So I went to the garage to get the almond milk. And I got there, we have this refrigerator in the garage that the light is gone out probably for the last year, because it's been a long time since I see light in that garage refrigerator. But most of the time when you come there, there's daylight, so you can find your way there. Now, as you all know, I have glasses, so I need glasses to focus distinctly on something. And I'm looking for the almond milk and juice, and I think what I'm touching at the top were water bottles. And I'm like, what the hell is this almond milk in this thing? So I'm like, okay, you know what? I put my hand in the middle, inside, looking for, there's got to be some light switch that was on that went off on this thing that we never fixed. And I kept fiddling, and somehow I put my hand on the light bulb and turn it, and I took it out. Now, it's not your normal size light bulb, it's a small one. So I went around the house looking for a replacement, and I found two bulbs that's kind of similar. And I came on and turned the light bulb on. And I am telling you, it was an amazing thing to see this light in this refrigerator, and everything is bright and you can see everything. And I really feel like that's the way our credit score is like. When we have it right, it's daylight. It just, so I'm hoping by the end of this presentation, you guys will understand having light than to be walking in shadows or in darkness. That's what this whole thing is about. It's bringing value to the community, making us all stronger as individuals and as a community. All right, so let's get started with the slide presentation. Okay. So again, welcome everybody. So my name is Gary Nix with the Gary Nix team, a broker associate for about 15 years. And my co-presenter today is Randy Cochrane with the United Credit Education Services. All right, we're gonna move quickly. Now, some kind of funding rules. If you have questions, put it on the share screen. We're gonna try and create at least about 10 minutes at the end for Q&A, but most of, I think with the two presentations we have, we'll cover most of the questions that need to be answered, but we still need to go specific with people that are on, okay? All right, that's me. So I wanna start with talking about the 3 myths understanding about credit. What are the 3 things that people value or our understanding of what credit is and what credit is not? I'm gonna need some audience participation on this actually. Can I get somebody to, I'm gonna have them read the question and then I will do the answer. So not my co-host at this point. So let me just get Kelly. Can you be a volunteer on this thing right here?
Okay, what is it you want me to do?
Okay, you're gonna read the myth understanding, and now it's like a question and an answer. It's coming up. Okay. Where are we at? Okay. So myth understanding 1.
Myth number 1. I'm reading the question.
Okay.
Well, the question is, I don't need credit cards.
That's right. So a lot of people think they don't need credit because credit is going to give them debt, right? But the truth is, yes, you can do without credit. If you're going to have an amazing life, now we're talking about people that wants to do well in life, right? We're talking about you as an individual that want to excel. You do need credit in order for you to excel. Your cash, even if you're a millionaire, your cash can buy you everything, and we'll talk about that. So let's go to the myth number 2.
Myth number 2, I don't want debts and be in debt to man.
To the man. The man is the key word there, right? A lot of people feel like, I don't want to owe the man in a debt. I don't want them to have to answer to them. And a lot of parents actually, again, the programming of our mind is based on information we have. And some parents actually sort of kill their children by telling them don't be in debt when there's a good debt and there's a bad debt, right? And the answer to that is you want to have good debt. You cannot have quality life without debt. If you're going to go buy a house, you're going to go buy a car, don't just go use your cash to buy it. Leverage your cash, and then have other quality of things that you can do, right? Okay, let's go to number 3.
Myth number 3, I don't want to be too straight. I want an edgy life.
Okay. Now, what is straight? That means I don't want to, I want to live just straight up where some people consider being straight, having debt, being responsible is being too straight. But again, you're being straight or edgy does not debar you from having good credit. It shows you have wisdom. And wisdom is the key thing here in living a quality life. Okay. So I want you to imagine a world of endless possibilities. Imagine a world of you can get the best of a cake. If you're at a party, they give you the best cake. If you went to you suffer less than anyone. Your payment is always less than anybody else. You get considered for anything you want, basically, because you have great credit, it gives you access to it, right? Have you ever been to a store and you're looking at stuff like, I don't really want anything, and they check on you and they saw like, wow, you have this amazing credit. Oh, all of a sudden they're caring to you like, what do you want? Why, anything you want, we can get for you, because they see your responsibility, right? So that's what having good credit does for you. Nothing comes easy, but everything are results of your choices. So let's kind of bring that home for you so you can see what a quality life will look like when you have great credit. So I want you to imagine 2 brothers. Both have the same money in their pocket, but the difference is the credit that they have. So we're gonna explore these 2 brothers, if they were buying a car and if they were buying a house. So you have the same amount of money in your pocket, and you want to buy a car that's worth $50,000. What is the difference of what good credit and bad credit does? The purpose of this exercise is to show you the quality of life you have when you have a great credit. So the brother A, I can't see too well with that. Okay, so brother A they're both buying a $50,000 car, right? This example that you're looking at the screen. That would be kind of like a nice, imagine a Mercedes Benz, you know, maybe a C300 or a BM. The truth is, if you buy a truck that's $50,000, you're probably looking like a F350 truck, right? That's gonna be a pretty nice. So these two brothers make money. It's not that they don't make money. They have the same kind of job. This is the difference between when you're working with somebody else and you see them have all these other things. You're like, wait a minute, how did that person have that? We make the same kind of money. And the difference is the quality of life because of their responsibility with their credit. So this brother here has a 588 FICO score. So you go to a car dealership, you're what they call special financing. Even though you put in 10% down, they gotta hit you up with a higher rate. So now your payment is $822 on a 72 months, 6-year deal. So you're indebted to that car payment at $822 for 6 years. Now, let's imagine the other brother now. The other brother that have an excellent credit, putting the same amount of money down, okay, on the same car. Now, instead of paying $822, they're paying $616. Now you can say, well, that's not a big deal. Okay, I can hear you that. But here's the difference. If you have an obligation of $822 and you have an obligation of $616, what that gives you is a difference of $200 of quality of life that you can have. That $200 extra that you're saving a month allows you to do other things that the other person cannot do. So these are the key things that we endure or we don't know is there when we choose to have a great credit in our lives. So now let's take it to another level. Okay, let's say brother one with a 580 FICO score decides to buy a house. Again, 10% down. It's got its money. It's not that they don't make the money. They make the money, right? Modest home of $650,000 property that, because you have a low FICO score, you're going to do special financing. And we do this all the time. People cannot do a particular type of financing because of their FICO score. So putting $79,000 down in payment on a 30-year term, they're paying about $4,000 a month. All right. So same house, different brother, different result. Same 10% down, same $650 house. Instead of a $4,000 obligation, they're paying $3,500 in obligation. And what does that translate into quality of life is that extra $500, can you imagine extra $500, maybe 3 months of not paying that $500? Now they have a $1,500 budget to go on vacation with. So I want you to see the quality of life about the choices we make as we go into it. And the power is in our hands. How is that power in our hand? How is it translating to our hand? It's in our hands in the choices we make, the understanding we have. I'm hoping, again, as we're going through this, that like the refrigerator that's dark, sometimes we just need light to be shed on us, and we have that understanding, and we can go with it. So communication is the key to everything we do. Once we have an understanding that if no matter where you are, I need to kind of dispose of the fact that most people think when you have life happens to us all. It really does. Life happens. Something happened. you have to make a choice. Maybe your son got sick or your daughter got sick, and you have to go pay for their hospital bill in order for them to get treated. So now you don't have the money to take care of that obligation. Communication is the key. I really can attest to this, that if you call any bank, any given bank, and say, hey, this month I have this life happens to me, I can't do this, I can't make this payment now, but I can make it, in the next 2 weeks or whatever that time frame is, they will work with you and they won't report you. What happens with most people is that when life happens and we don't have the money, we run away from everybody. We don't want to answer the calls. We don't, most creditors will send you letters upon letters to let you know, hey, you're late on this thing, blah, blah. And some creditors will not even report you for 60 days, even though they say 30 days late, but it's 60 days later, because you did not respond to them, then they hit you for that 30 days late. So you got to answer every phone call that come your way, every request. I mean, even myself today, sometimes I forget to pay my cable bill. And then I get a call from the cable company. I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot that. Okay, let me take care of that right away. So sometimes you're just busy with life. But the key thing is when you get the call, respond to it, and you will get the answer you want. So, the key thing there is communicating your situation always, right? All right, sorry, we're trying to figure this thing out real quickly here. Okay, so every threat of collection, if we just develop these new habits, as soon as you get a call out, we're gonna put you on collection because this thing has not been taken care of. Call them up and talk to them. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, maybe I missed this. It's not in my budget this month. Can I put it in my budget for next month? And you will be amazed that they will work with you. If nothing else, I wanted to make sure everybody have an understanding that creditors are not there to bring you down, but you are responsible for your debt, and you need to take ownership of those debt, and work with them on what you can do to take care of your debt. All right. Well, we have a problem with this thing. So most people don't realize is that a $50 collection can bring you down 100 scores. Because I've had clients that have this, like, just because of $50. I have a lady that came here one time. I mean, all our payments are great. She pays everything down on all our credit. But because of a medical collection that she felt the medical company is supposed to pay for it or whatnot, they send you a collection and they send it to you several times. And then boom, they put the collection on you, and all of a sudden, this great FICO that could have been, I looked at the credit, she could be easily 800 FICO score. It went down to in the 6. Just that, and because it was reported, currently, it can really affect us. So that's why I'm saying it's really important. Handle those. Don't get mad. I get people all the time like, oh, that was not supposed to be me. Well, even if it was not supposed to be to you, make the payment, make the minimum payment that you need to make, and then make the fight. Don't let them say, oh, I get people come to me, oh, somebody used my credit. I'm like, how is it that somebody's using your credit? I've got credit for 40 years. I've never had anybody use my credit. Yeah, sometimes you see a charge that's not supposed to be there. You call the credit card company. They say, okay, so where was this used? Were you here? No, I was not. Okay, we'll take it up, but still make your payment. And people just go into the point of, oh, that wasn't me, so I'm not going to make the payment. They send you your minimum payment. Just at least make some minimum payment and then fight that out that you need to fight out. But don't let it come on you, because it's just going to bring you down. And the part is, we want to live a quality life, and want to live a quality life, we need to have great credit. Some new habits that I want to recommend is never fully charge your revolving accounts. Instead, ask for increase in your credit and then make your purchase. So what does that mean? I think I went with my family to JCPenney to do some shopping. And, we bought a lot of clothes for my daughter, because we usually just do it once a year for her. And so they say, okay, Mr. Nix, you do have a JCPenney card? I said, no, really. She's like, okay, we'll really, if you use a card, we'll give you 10% off, right away. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So now we looked at everything we were buying. It was like, I don't know, it was pretty expensive. It was like $8,000. And so they said they're gonna give us a credit. I said, well, how much credit are you gonna give me if we're gonna make the purchase? And said, well, you need $8,000. I said, can you give me $16,000? And they look at it and said, okay. So why is that? Because you never want to have a fully charged credit. You always want to keep room in your revolving account and then pay down as soon as you can. Now, I knew I can pay that stuff down in a short while, but I don't want the credit to be full, because once it's full, now your score is going to go lower because it looks like you fully charge your card. So even if it doesn't matter what it is, $200, $500, whatever your purchase is, especially if you want to go do furniture shopping. Furniture is where people really bring their credit down, right? You go to the furniture store and they say, okay, we'll give you credit. You're buying, $8,000, $4,000 furniture. We'll give you credit to match that. No, always ask for more, so that if you know you're going to spend $4,000, ask for 8,000. If you're going to spend $8,000, ask for 16,000. And then know that you'll be paying it down immediately too. Keep your revolving account when at all possible under 30%. Now, again, it's not always possible, but always work towards putting it down to 30%. And then when you get it down to 30%, 25%, 20%, 10%, and till you eventually pay it off. But never let your revolving accounts at the end of that month be over 30%. Again, we're talking about living that quality life. The two brothers example, remember that you want to always have the cream. You always want to have the top cake. Everywhere you go, you always want them to answer to you first, and treat you special because you create a special lifestyle for yourself. So a lot of times where we get stuck is when life happens to us, right? Like, okay, something happened here. What do we do? Anything can happen to anybody at any given time. We don't pray it happens, but hey, the whole country just went through, we're still going through COVID right now, right? So COVID happened to you, all of a sudden you can't go to work and you don't have any income coming in. The key is communication. If you call your banks, if you call basically your banks, you call them and say, I have COVID related, thing, I can't go to work. I need to skip my payment this month. Can you please not charge me a late fee? They will say yes. They will really agree. And whatever it is that happened, my mom died, my sister, my dad passed away. I have to go take care of funeral service. I won't have the money. Just gotta make that call, prior to it happening, and avoid being late. Okay. Okay. So, can we go back? Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about what do we do to establish credit. If you have no credit at all, what do you do to establish credit? You can go get a secure credit card and make a payment. Go to, I know the big banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they do that. You just give them $300 of your own money and they establish a secure card for you. And then go charge like $30, buy gas or whatever, and then make the payment before the end of the month. All of a sudden, you have an established credit. Again, keep your balances under 30% when you can. Or another way to establish credit is if you have a parent, a spouse, or whatever that may be, a brother, sister that already have good credit, say, hey, can you just add me to your credit so that I can get your benefit. That it helps, you're not giving that person, they're not giving you the card, or you're not giving them your card. It's just they add you to their good credit, and all of a sudden you get the record like they have it. So now you can now go after that and get your own credit established. We got to help one another. If you have a bad credit, what can you do to get to good? Be willing to settle your collections. I've had people come and say, oh, I didn't, that medical collection, that was not supposed to be me. It was not fair. I just went to the hospital, they didn't do anything on me, and they charging me $1,000. Settle the collection. To me, we fight the wrong kind of fight. Again, when our mindset is small, if we want to have a quality life and not a life of paying more than what we're supposed to pay, we need to take care of those little collections. A collection, and most collection you can call and say, I don't have enough, but can I pay 50%? Can I settle for 50%? And they'll probably settle with you, rather than, letting that collection stay in you and keep messing up your credit. Good habit to develop: decide to never be late on any payments and act on it. That is really key. One of the things that bring people's credit down is late payments. At the very least, pay your minimum payment, right? If okay, you have 5 credit cards, your minimum payment is $25, but you only have $100. Well, you like to pay 50 on this other one? No. Spread it out, so at least you keep all your payments going until such a time as you have money to pay more, right? And whenever you can, I'm going to reinforce this over and over. Keep your balances under 30%. You have $1,000 credit limit. Don't charge more than $333. Actually, more than $300. I don't know my math. All right. Keep your balances under 30% when you can. And again, communicate with your lenders, not just your lenders, sometimes utility company, T-Mobile or Verizon, whatever, they can put a late charge on your account because you didn't make a payment. Make the payment, communicate with them. At least if you're going to argue something, be making your payment and then argue on, and then argue whatever you need to argue to see if you can win that battle, right? And if you're a good credit and you just want to get to great, well, that generally means you want to get your balance under 10% when you can. That's going to take you from a 700 to a 780, score. Keep your credit going for a long time. One key mistakes most people make is, oh, I had this credit, I finally paid it off to zero. I want to close it. No, don't do that. The longer you have credits, the better your score gets. So if you have got some credit card I've had for 30 years, it's gonna make you stronger. Pay down, and now every now and then you need to charge them up to get them to be part of the your score rhythm that they check, right? But keep them on. Don't say because you pay it off, you're gonna cancel it or close it. No, that doesn't help you at all. It actually make your scores to go down. Make them active from time to time, use them whenever you can. Habits, again, you change your habits to new one. In order for anything to change in us, right? Most of us, we live based on the information we have received from our parents, from our peers. That's what we live by. And if we have, friends or parents are telling you don't get credit, don't get sucked into the system. No, that's because those are people that live at a very lower level. If you wanted to go to a higher level and achieve more, you need to understand you got to have good credit in order for that to happen, right? You deserve a great life, so choose the wise path. Develop new habits that's going to make things change. And then I have it down that change your thinking, change your world. It's really important that if we are going to be different, we have to think different. I'm not really into politics and stuff like that, but I feel like this new president is really into equity share, especially for minorities that you don't understand that you can be part of everything if you choose to, right? You don't have to be on the low part. You can own everything you want to own. You just got to make decisions that's going to guide you there. And this is one of the key things that brings people down, because hey, if you're gonna pay $800 on a car that somebody else is paying $600 on the car, that person is just gonna have a better life. They are. So we gotta make these choices to get us there. So the programming of our mind is kind of like, oh, it's so interesting. I talk about the light bulb story, and I have it down here. I didn't even. The programming of our mind is really important. Knowledge is everything, right? There's a word in the Bible that talks about, in Malachi, that talks about try me in this and see if I will not show you the windows of heaven, where blessing will be poured out to you. And I always wonder, what's the windows of heaven? It's really knowledge. It's getting understanding of some things that you do different. And sometimes the knowledge we have limits us. So I'm hoping, this new knowledge will give you a different thought pattern. Like, okay, I need to think different. And if I think different and I start feeling different, I can tell you, when I have that light on in that refrigerator, I just felt good. It's like, wow, being in darkness is not a good thing at all. To have light is great. And now you start taking the action, like, okay, so now I get it. All right, I got to pay my credits down. I got to make sure I'm not late. And you start doing that, all of a sudden you start getting new results. So now you get into a new programming, a new mindset where everything is possible for you, and you can achieve everything that you want because you put yourself in that position. All right. So live the best life possible. Okay. So let me see. Oh, kind of took a little longer for that. All right. So let's go into our guest speaker, Randy. Take over.
Hey, Jerry, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me today. We're going to go through some case files, and Jerry's just going to move through these slides for us. And so...
okay. So you want us to just go through the case files and you can start talking about them?
Oh, no. No, let me share some information about myself really quick. I just got ahead of myself. So if you do have questions, go ahead and type those in the chat or question section. I just want to introduce myself. My name's Randy Cochran, and I'm with a company called United Credit Education Services. I've been with this company now for almost 11 years. I do have a background in real estate and mortgage myself. I was a mortgage broker for 10 years. I'm also a real estate broker for 20 years. So we're constantly, like Jerry, working with individuals that have less than perfect credit that want to become homeowners. And so this is a program that I found for my clients over 10 years ago. And the information that Jerry's sharing with you today is very accurate. And so our goal when we start working with a client is to help them boost their credit scores, power down their debt, and then save money on the items that they're already buying anyway. And so how we do that, and I'm only going to just take a few minutes today and share a few things with you before we jump into case studies. And so let me just, I should have the ability to share my screen here. So let me do that. Okay, can you see my screen okay? Wonderful. So, so our company, we have 14 unique products and services that we offer our clients. And again, these services are designed to help a person boost their scores, power down their debt. Now, Jerry mentioned prepaid credit cards. We do offer those. And so if you do need a prepaid credit card, it's a great way to boost your scores. That reports to all 3 credit reporting agencies. A few of our services, you know, if you have dings or dents on your credit, our goal is to get those items removed from the credit report as fast as possible and boost the scores. Now, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, but because we're a nonprofit, that doesn't necessarily mean that our services are free, right? And so, so our credit restoration is our flagship service, and we typically see positive results within 45 to 60 days. Now, when a person enrolls, they're going to get access to a special portal. We're going to pull their credit one time, and anything that's showing up as a negative or a derogatory, we're going to dispute that. So that's our flagship service, and that's our credit restoration program. Now, there's a step-by-step process that we have. We have great videos and tremendous information to help a person monitor their progress. Now, you know, one of the things that Jerry talked about was collections. Now, collection accounts are a little bit tricky because if you have a collection and that collection's already been charged off by the creditor, believe it or not, you might not owe that debt any longer. And so we actually have a debt validation letter available for our clients. So before you pay a debt, send that debt validation letter to the creditor and make them verify and validate that you still owe the debt. Because if you don't owe the debt, you might not have to pay it, and that debt can still be removed from your credit report. Our second service is our credit monitoring program. And the credit monitoring program is crucial to you getting qualified to make a major purchase, because you can use a score tracker. That way you know when to repull your credit, because if you're pulling your credit over and over again, those inquiries can lower your credit score. And so that's something that you don't want to do. Is be pulling credit all the time. But with the score tracker program, it's going to allow you to do that. You can also settle debt directly with your creditor through that credit monitoring program. But remember, if you settle debt with a creditor, it could have an adverse or negative effect on your credit. We also have a great debt payoff tool, because if a person has more debt and a high debt to income ratio, what our clients can do is they can put in their debt and they can put in their income and hit the power down debt report, and it'll show them what they want to pay in the order they want to pay it, so they can become debt free as quickly as possible. And then finally, and I'm not going to go through all the services today, but we do have identity monitoring. And you have to remember, an identity is stolen in America every 2 seconds. And typically what happens is when somebody has a lower credit score, as soon as we start to improve their credit score, their susceptibility to identity theft skyrockets. So between the credit monitoring program and the identity theft protection, our clients get $2 million worth of identity fraud and theft protection. So we can definitely help boost credit scores through that prepaid credit card. We can help the negatives or derogatories get removed. But then we also have a credit attorney that's included in our program that's an absolute pit bull, that has sued the credit reporting agency so many times that they don't even fight them any longer. They just settle with them. So if the credit attorney is able to step in, they'll sue the credit reporting agencies, a debt collector, they'll sue a creditor, and the goal is to get that item removed from the credit report and get our clients a cash settlement. And so if you're trying to make a major purchase and all of a sudden you get that item removed from the credit report, and let's say you get $1,000 cash settlement from the attorney, well, what can you do with that money? You know, can use it towards your down payment, your closing costs, your home warranty, your home inspection, those sort of things. And so those are really the services in our protection plan that are very specific to a person getting their credit back on track. But as I mentioned, we have money saving services. We have a discount travel club. So if our clients are traveling, they can save money on travel. Also, if they're shopping online or in person, they can save money on the items that they're already buying every single day anyway. And then we also have a prescription discount card, which can sometimes save up, save hundreds of dollars per month for people that are getting prescriptions, especially if they don't have health insurance. So that's our just a brief overview of our services. To see all the services, you can go to ucsinfo.org. I'll type that in the chat here in just a little bit. But I also want to talk about our rent reporting program. And we're able to report rent on the TransUnion and Equifax credit report. So if a person's currently renting, we can not only report rent going forward, but we can report rent 1 year in the rear or 2 years in the rear. And what that does is that provides a positive trade line for our clients that's seasoned, that demonstrates that they can not only make a payment, but we've seen it boost credit scores anywhere between 20 and 150 points in as little as sometimes 3 to 5 weeks. And so that's a fantastic program. So that rent reporting program, if you go to Rocket, like a rocket ship, or rocketthescore.com, you can learn more about that program. And so I'm going to unshare my screen here, and let's jump into some case studies. Does anybody have any questions about that? You can type in the chat or questions section. Jerry, do you have any questions?
Well, there's somebody posted a question. I had some late payments and a cable collection on my record. How do I repair the credit score that's ranging 680 to 695?
Perfect, and that's a great question. So the thing about credit is this: there's a 100% guarantee when it comes to credit that if you don't dispute the items on your credit report, even if they're correct, because the Fair Credit Reporting Act allows us to have someone do an investigation, request an investigation with the creditor at any time. If we don't dispute those things, they're just going to stay there. Now, you can do other things like add other credit lines. You can get new credit. You can even go, and this is just a free tip for everybody today. Once we're done with the webinar, go to Experian.com and use their Boost program. In fact, you can just go to Google and type in Experian Boost, and it'll take you right to the link. And what you'll do is you'll enter your information, you'll enter your checking account information, and what they do is they go in and they search for the utilities that you're paying. And this is exclusive to Experian only. But what they'll do is they'll look at how you pay your utility bills through your checking account. And sometimes that Experian Boost can just boost your credit 20 points. But if you do have late payments, negatives, derogatories, whatever it is, those are the things that we want to dispute on your credit report.
All right, let's go into the case share. Case share, case file. That's number one. All right, so a student graduated with no credit history. Now what? What can they do?
So if a person that doesn't have credit and they're a student, especially, they can use a program called Self-Lender, where they can actually set up an account and lend money to themselves. And it's basically they're lending themselves their own money. They can also set up that prepaid credit card. They can report the rent on their credit if they're currently renting. They can also go to a parent or a family member and have them, or if it's a spouse, significant other, have them add them as an authorized user on a card, and that can add a trade line. Remember, if a person's trying to get a home loan, they're really looking for 3 positive trade lines. So the faster that we can get those 3 positive trade lines, the better. Student loans do count. A lot of times, if they're a student, they are making payments on a student loan. But the thing about student loans is make them on time. And if they're struggling to make their student loan payments, our credit attorney has a great student loan program where he can go in and help those students adjust their student loan payments down, so their debt to income ratio goes down, which is going to boost their credit score.
All right, thank you. Number 2, a seasoned veteran with no revolving credit but some medical collections, cost of $548. What can that person do?
So that person can do the same thing. You know, if they're renting, they can report the rent. They can get a prepaid credit card. They can also use self-lender. They can also, you know, we can dispute those items on their credit report. And the nice part about being a veteran is if they're a veteran and they qualify for veteran benefits, if they have their DD 214 and they can qualify for a VA loan. Oftentimes the VA is a lot more liberal with dings and dents on a credit report. Although they still may have a credit qualifier, they might overlook a few things. Also, that VA loan program is 100% financing. And so, you know, all they really need is closing costs from the seller. So if you are a veteran, you know, especially with our program, you know, definitely let us know. And, you know, veterans, first responders, you know, we always try to take extra, you know, care of those, you know, essential workers, school teachers, nurses, especially.
Okay. Well, just so for the full disclosure, when we say seasoned veteran, we're just talking an older person.
Oh, okay. A senior. So someone like me.
That's right.
Gotcha. And sometimes that's tough because we see this happen from time to time where somebody might not have a lot of debt and they pay everything off and they really don't use credit. What happens if you don't use it? You lose it, and you can actually become what's called a no score. That's and right. So you know, maintaining 3 positive trade lines, even if it's a small amount every month, is definitely going to help. You know, buying groceries, buying gas, going to dinner.
All right. So number 3, someone with multiple collections and full charges of revolving credits. Where did they start?
So again, collections, you got to dispute those. You know, revolving accounts. If a person needs debt consolidation, you know, it's unfortunate, but debt consolidation and bankruptcy have their places, and that's why those, you know, that's why they're here for us. I talked to a person yesterday. I talked to their daughter. Their parents are 81 years old. They have over $100,000 in credit card debt. They're just drowning. And so they don't want to file bankruptcy. And so debt consolidation may be an option for them. Now, we do not do debt consolidation other than a person can settle, you know, their debts for a lesser amount with our credit monitoring program. But we do have a debt consolidation company that we do work with. We feel comfortable and confident with them that we do refer clients to if that's something that they need to do. And then let's get their credit back on track and get them to a point where they can qualify as quickly as possible.
Awesome. So recent late on a revolving credit due to forgetfulness, score dropped 100 points.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you contact a creditor, if a person forgot to make their payment, the creditor's going to say that's not my fault. And unfortunately, they're also probably going to say we follow the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, where you know, where if we change the way that we report for you, that means we have to change it for everybody else. You know, remember the credit reporting agencies, they only report what's reported to them. And so they're reporting credit on 335 million people approximately per month, and they can't get it right either. But you know, one thing that you can do is reach out to the creditor directly, as Jerry mentioned earlier. Ask for a goodwill removal of that or an update just to show paid as agreed. You know, I've literally seen people where they've made their payment and been short 12 cents worth of interest on an account when they paid it off, and they reported them late for less than $1. And so even though they paid on time, you know, for 60 months on their automobile, it's just crazy. But, you know, again, you know, dispute it if they won't fix it. Or again, our credit monitoring program, you can go in and ask for that goodwill removal directly with the creditor through that program.
Awesome. I think we got a couple more to go through. Okay. Overcharge on credit balances, cost dropped to 620.
This is a crazy statistic. in 2019, there were $37 billion of fees collected by banks for overdraft charges on bank accounts alone. And so what banks are doing is they're in the fee collection business, and they're actually making all their money off the people that didn't have any money in their checking account because they had non-sufficient funds. And so banks and credit card companies, they're looking for every way possible to overcharge on balances. And so again, those can be negotiated. We do have letters that you can send to settle debt as well. But if you feel like you're getting overcharged, it's worth that phone call. Now, something may not come from that. If they don't respond to a phone call, you do have to put it in writing and send it to them. Something in writing is going to force them to do something and respond. And just like if we're disputing something on somebody's credit, and we send them a letter to the credit reporting agencies and they don't respond within a 30-day period, even if that item's correct, it has to come off the credit report because it's a law.
Okay. Good to know. 8 different collection. This is a big one. Okay.
Yeah.
8 different collection, 5 reason 30, 60, and 90 days late. Overcharges on account, 448 score. What can be done to somebody like this?
This is what we call the game plan or the roadmap. And this is where we really have to sit down and say, okay, can you settle any of the collections? Because just getting something removed from the credit report doesn't eliminate the debt. And so, can we get these collections to show paid as agreed? On anything that you're currently late on, can we come up with a plan to get those paid current? And then, if you're getting overcharged on those accounts, can you work with that creditor? But at the end of the day, this is a position where a person may need to get into some credit restoration. And a question that we get a lot is, well, can I do that on my own? And the answer is yes. A person can try and fix their credit on their own. In fact, I provide a free ebook, and I'll forward this to Jerry for anybody that wants it on 5 things that they can do to fix their own credit. But it's kind of like, changing the oil in your car. The car that I have is a 2018. It's an Audi. It's an S4. And I pop the hood on that thing and I look at it and I'm like, I don't even know where the oil goes in because it's so complex, right? And so I'm not even going to touch that. Even if I do, it's going to void the warranty. And so, credit restoration is the same way. A person can fix it on their own, but it's not really what happens once you get that first round of letters back or that first response back from the credit reporting agencies. It's what happens after that. And can we sick our credit attorney on them? And can we let them do what they really specialize in doing? And so we might need to do that credit restoration. We might need to do a power down debt program. You might need to do some debt consolidation. We might need to add that prepaid credit card. We might need to add rent reporting. We might need to do one or the other or all of them. And so the best thing to do is, sit down with this, come up with a game plan, and see how quickly we can get you in a position to either purchase a home, refinance a home, buy a car, send your kids to college, it's whatever you want to do in the time that you want to do it. Well, we try and work with that. We're typically going to see positive results within 45 to 60 days, no matter what. And all of our services do come with a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. I noticed there was another question that came in that said, what if you had a medical bill or collection placed on your credit, it was paid in full but still wanted deleted? So if there's a medical bill placed on credit, if it's paid in full, what you can do is you can go into the credit monitoring program, and there's a tab that says take instant action. You can click that button and request that it shows paid as agreed or removed from the credit report. You can also delete that with the credit reporting agencies. And so it may be disputing directly with the creditor, but it may also be disputing with the credit reporting agency. It might be a combination of both. We had that situation where a client of ours, somebody stole their identity, and they had a loan in their name that wasn't there, that theirs, they could prove it. They tried for about 4 years to get it off their credit report, and they even hired attorneys. They did all kinds of different crazy things, invested a lot of money, and none of those worked. they were with our company for less than 5 weeks, and that item would come off all their credit reports. And so what we do works. We know it works. In fact, it worked for me when the real estate bubble burst clear back in 2010. I had income and rental properties. I had tenants not paying me. You know, I had my business where I wasn't getting paid from my clients, and so my credit score personally, it went from an 805 to a 476 in less than 30 days. I used this program myself. I had 22 negative items removed from my credit report. My credit scores jumped right back up to where they were before. And so I know that the program worked for me, so I know it can work for everybody else.
Awesome, Randy. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Always right on point and trying to make sure we on point and our timing. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have gotten some information that's going to help you. Again, this is about living the best life possible, right? Like that refrigerator where it's dark and you can still live in the darkness of it, you know, and figure your way out to go in and out of it. But when it's light and bright, it's so much easier. It's really so much easier. So I hope everybody's gotten something from this. Let's go make that life possible for ourselves. Does anybody have any question that they wanted to ask? Nope. What's the cost for credit repair?
No, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Randy, are you still there? All right.
Yes, yes, and that's a great question. So our program for the credit restoration, it's a $99 activation, and it's $89 per month, and it's a month-to-month program, and you're going to receive all 14 of our services. And so when you initially enroll, it's a $188 investment, but that includes your first 30 days of service, and then it's just $89 every 30 days after that. And again, you just stay in the program as long as you want it or as long as you need it. And also at the same time, we have a referral program. So once you refer 5 people to us that enroll in the program, once those 5 are enrolled, then your services become completely free.
Okay. So for enrolling in the program, did they immediately, you guys start immediately disputing whatever collections they may have, that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. As soon as they enroll in the program, we're going to pull their credit